I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up.
You know, we've all heard that phrase that we are what we eat. But I don't think people believe that. I don't think people believe that. Because if we really believed we are what we eat, then when there was something about ourselves or our lives that we didn't like, then the first thing we would look at is our diet. And we would just kind of assess our diet and look for things that we could change. What do we need to change? What do we need to stop eating, or what do we need to start eating? But that's not what people do. You know, when people have an issue with their life, you know, there's something about them they don't like, or something about their life that they don't like, they're not thinking about diet at all. You know, they're thinking about going back to school, getting a degree. They're thinking about if I had a wife and some children, or if I had a husband and some children, you know, if I had a family, you know, with a little dog, or if I had a better car, or if I lived in a better neighborhood, a better community, you know, a different state, a different country, on and on. These are the types of things people are thinking about. People are never thinking about, if I stopped eating this bullshit, then I could think clearer. And if I'm thinking clearer, I could make better decisions. And if I'm making better decisions, I could change my life. I could increase my income. Yada, yada, yada. People are not thinking like that. So people say all the time, we are what we eat. But people don't believe that. And the fact of the matter is, we are what we eat is an eternal, universal truth. We all are a product of what we eat. We are a product of our diets. And I mean, just one way I'm gonna, you know, explain this and to try to help make it clearer is our bodies are made up of, say, approximately 30 trillion cells. Every organ, tissue, the blood, everything, the hair, the skin, everything is made of cells. So you got approximately 30 trillion cells. The body is in a constant state of renewal. So this means every day, approximately 330 billion cells are replaced with brand new cells. When you understand this, then it makes more sense how when I say we are not supposed to age, get sick, or die, because the body is constantly repairing, regenerating, renewing itself every day. Most people don't even know this. They have no awareness of it, but that's what's going on inside of the body. You know, the body is constantly detoxing itself. You know, you often hear about people talking about going on a detox, as if the body isn't detoxing until they decide to go on a detox. The body is always detoxing itself 24/7. The body takes care of itself. It's programmed to take care of itself. But at the same time, you know, it's like a partnership. And so, you know, the 330 billion cells that the body replaces with brand new cells every day are made from the things that we feed the body. So if your diet is shit, the cells of your body are gonna be shit. We are what we eat. And this is, I mean, shit. This has to be one of the most solid proofs of that. So when, you see, say, like what we would typically call an old person, and we call them old because they're just decrepit looking, and they're all wrinkly, looking like raisins and prunes, and they're all hunched over and they could barely move. They've lost virtually all of their mobility, independence. They can do very little on their own. They need a walker or a cane or a wheelchair. They're back wearing diapers. They can't see. They have joint pain. They have arthritis. They've lost all their hair. Like, they have all these issues going on. They're on drugs for pain, and, their bodies are just riddled with different diseases. This is not old age. This is years of feeding their bodies things that are cooked and processed, artificial, unnatural, and man-made. These things are poisonous to the human body. And so what you're seeing is just years, these cells, the cells of this person's body over the years have been being renewed with fake, artificial, unnatural, cooked, processed, man-made things. These are not food. And so that is the result. This person that can barely move, can barely walk, that has to wear diapers again because they can't control their bowels. They're back using a walker again. It's like they're a baby all over again. They can't do shit for themselves anymore. This is why there is no such thing of old age, because there is no such thing of time. This isn't just an accumulation of cells being made from poisonous substances that these people called food and ate like it was food for decades of their lives. We are what we eat. If we're not eating right, we're not seeing right, we're not thinking right, we're not speaking right, we're not judging right, we're not perceiving right, we're not understanding right. Because again, all of the cells of our bodies are being renewed every day with the things that we eat and drink. And eventually, in the beginning, it's not a big deal necessarily, because, you may have, several billion cells made from these toxins that, people call food, but the majority of your cells are still healthy cells. But what happens over time, you keep eating like this, and then the cells that are made from these toxic, poisonous, addictive, cooked, processed, unnatural, artificial, man-made things begin to be dominant in your body, and the healthy cells become the minority in your body. And you continue eating like this, and after a while, your body is mostly made up of these toxic, poisonous, processed, unnatural, artificial, man-made things that they call food, and got you thinking is food. And this is where disease comes from. We are what we eat. And if we really believe that, then any issue we had with ourselves, the first thing we would look at would be our diets. The only thing that should be in your body is food. But today there's just a tremendous amount of confusion revolving around what food is and what food isn't. Like, I used to didn't see fruit as food at all. If I was hungry, I would never think about getting some fruit to eat. Never. Even if somebody suggested eating fruit. What? I want some real food. And I would go to like a McDonald's or some shit. Or Applebee's or something. That's what I consider real food. I would go to a Dunkin' Donuts. I would eat anything. O'Reilly's, a Burger King, fucking Pizza Hut, Domino's. These are the things that I considered real food. Fruit was not even considered a food at all by me. Now I know that fruit is food and all of that other shit is not food. So, me, myself, I got work to do because I have decades of cells, billions of cells in my body being renewed with the building materials of this poisonous bullshit that I was eating. But every day you get another chance, right? So now, and for over the past 2 years, the cells of my body, billions of cells in this body every day, have been being renewed with food. Nothing but food. And when I say nothing but food, I'm talking about fruit. Nothing else. Nothing else has entered my body in over 2 years other than fruit. So we are what we eat. And if you are unhappy with you, who you are, what you are, then you should be looking at your diet. Because we are products of our diet. Our diets literally make us, right? Because again, let me say this again. Our bodies, everything, our cells, our organs, everything, not our cells, but organs, hair, tissue, skin, blood, everything that makes up this human body is made of cells, trillions of cells. And these cells are created from the things that we eat and drink primarily. And so if we're eating and drinking shit, then what are we going to be? Like, what kind of people are we going to be? If the cells of our bodies are being renewed, recreated from poisons, how is this going to affect us as a whole? It's going to affect every aspect of our lives. Something that I've realized is the most powerful universal truths. They truly are timeless and eternal because we've been hearing them since children and we still hear them till today. But most people just don't believe them. Like, we reap what we sow. Everybody's heard that. But how many people are sowing consciously and intentionally? How many of us are aware of how we're sowing and what we're sowing every time we engage with another individual, even when we engage with ourselves? Like, how often are we thinking we reap what we sow? How much do we allow that one timeless, eternal, universal truth to govern our decisions? You know, like somebody do something to you and you on some get back shit. Like I'm about to fuck them up. And then you're reminded. You reap what you sow. And then like, damn. Now what I was thinking about doing to that individual to get them back, I'm not even gonna do, because I don't want that shit coming back on me. Like how many of us are allowing that truth to govern our lives and the decisions we make? Yet it's one of the most powerful, universal, and eternal truths that exists. And we are what we eat. That's another one. I just wanted to share that. And really because I just figured out how to hook this mic up to my phone. And I'm like, shit, I got to make a video because the voice sounds so amazing now. But yeah, on that note, though, I'm gonna wrap this up. Some powerful truths. You can change your life with this shit. I'm telling you, you could change your life with this. It's simple, super practical. But you know, the thing is just being, you know, having the awareness of it. You know, in the right moments and acting on it You know, again, like everybody knows these truths. Everybody knows them. But how many people are doing them? Knowing them is just not enough. People say knowledge is power. No, that's not true. Knowledge in and of itself ain't shit unless you're doing it. The power is in the doing. A lot of people had the knowledge, but they not doing what the knowledge tell them to do. They had a truth, but they not doing what the truth tell them to do. There's no power in that. It's like having money and never spending it. You know what I mean? It's like just having millions of dollars just on your table, and when you need to buy something, you don't spend that money. And so you just struggle, like, I'm hungry. I haven't eaten in 6 days. Well, motherfucker, buy something to eat. You had all this goddamn money on the table. That's how people are with the truth. That's how people are with knowledge. They have the truth and the knowledge to change their lives, but they don't use it. And on that note, I'm about to get out of here. I'll talk to y'all soon.